If you're an aspiring actor, don't go to dramaschool.com. There is another way. Don't go to dramaschool.com.
Hello everybody, good evening. Thanks for joining tonight. Don't go to dramaschool.com live stream. How is everyone? How are you all? Do let me know where you're coming in from. That'd be really interesting to know. If you're watching this on YouTube on your mobile, there's a chat facility just down below. And if you're watching it on your laptop, I believe it's to the right of you. So yeah, let's make this interactive as always. For those of you not have been on one of these before, I do these every month. It's all about screen acting, and yeah, it's good to make this rather than me talking at you for an hour. Let's make this interactive, and as we go along, you're going to see that I'll be prompting you for your answers and impressions of what we're talking about as well. So brilliant. We got Ivy Phoenix coming in from Ireland. Hi Ivy, if you can let me know where you heard about this as well, that's always interesting to know. So let's get on with tonight's workshop. So so we're looking at what to act that is not in the script. Okay. What I'm going to ask as well, at the end of tonight's workshop, we should go on for about an hour. It depends how interactive you are as to if we go over that by a long time. But I want you to share one thing that you've really learned that maybe you've not heard of before that you can definitely take away and apply to your acting career if you do that at the end. Okay, so a bit about me. I'm a screen acting and script writing coach. I'm a producer, writer, director. I worked on a number of top TV shows in the mid to late 90s. I'm a lot older than I seem, and I created the world's first internet soap opera. That's my big claim to fame. I also trained with Hollywood's #1 screen acting coach, and what I'm teaching you tonight has come from her, Ivana Jabuk. It's such powerful stuff. I'm going to introduce you to this philosophy if you've not heard of it already. And I'm also a professional happiness coach, and I teach positive psychology and success motivation. And I embed that within my drama training because I think that is a real missing part of what traditional drama schools don't teach. You know, what's the point of teaching people to be great actors if they don't believe they can move into the industry and establish a successful career? Who else have we got? Shutterbug Infinity, Ireland as well. Wow, this is good. We got a lot of Irish people joining us. No, fantastic. I teach. I've got a website-based, video-based drama training school, which is called. You can find it on the website either don'tgotodramaschool.com or DGTDS. If you don't want to type that much. And the whole principle of this is to make quality industry relevant. So it's screen acting training, not theatre stage training, accessible to all. We are entering a new age now. It's very exciting. Loads of opportunities coming up. Theatres are being demolished and turned into bingo halls, while the demand for screen acting is exploding. I don't need to tell you about all the streamers, Netflix, Amazon, Paramount now. They're all hungry for content, and there's huge opportunities for actors that are primed and ready to step up because the demand is only going to get bigger. Okay, and I'm in talks. My job as a producer, I'm in talks with some of the streamers at the moment about bringing a pioneering concept to the marketplace, and this is part of it. Okay, we got some more comments coming in. This is good. What's this? Mary. Oh, so Mary Shutterbug. Thanks for clarifying that, Mary. Let me show you a brief video just about get the promotion out.
Don't go to dramaschool.com.
The concept of don't go to drama school may seem crazy to some. How can you possibly learn acting techniques via video training? But think of it like this. Basically, any training is an information exchange, but the big difference here is that you aren't paying thousands of pounds and moving away from home to go to drama school. You get all the information you need here. And by joining our private community group and uploading filmed material of yourself when prompted, you'll be able to get the necessary feedback to help guide and develop you. The most important thing is that you physically perform all of the exercises set. You can only become a great actor by doing and demonstrating your understanding of the craft.
An intellectual understanding of the concepts will not make you a great actor. And you only get great at any activity by constantly repeating it until it becomes second nature. The process of learning to act is very similar to that of learning to drive a car. You're going to hear me using that analogy a lot. To successfully learn to drive, you physically have to get behind the wheel of a car, turn the engine on, drive the car out into heavy traffic and risk crashing the vehicle. It is the same with acting. You have to risk making mistakes to truly progress. You can only ever learn through doing. As the course progresses, you'll be given a number of multi-character scripts. I recommend that you start sourcing friends and family to learn the lines and support you on your acting journey. But failing that, our private community forum is where you can start sourcing fellow actors who live local to you. Many past students have made friends for life through my drama training, because in the process of exploring the scripts, you explore yourselves, sharing and expressing your vulnerability. The scripts you will be working on will include monologues, soap opera scenes, cop drama and period drama scenes. As the course progresses, we'll also include classic theatre writers such as Shakespeare, Pinter, Chekhov and Beckett to show how the techniques taught also apply to these classic authors. I hope this overview of our course has fired you with the excitement and determination to get started. So what are you waiting for? I look forward to helping you achieve your acting success dreams.
And you can see here, this is all the components that we cover. So, but tonight I'm going to give you a freebie, okay? So you'll find out more about how this training works. I'll give you a freebie exercise. Yep, and you can get access to the weekly training videos and course materials for $9.99 per workshop. That includes the mindset stuff as well. And yeah, as I say, a free gift for those who stay to the end. So that's the end of the shameless plug-in now. Okay, so let's start the interaction. Tell me then, share on the comments, how many of you have been to drama school? How many of you are moving in the direction of some kind of acting career? And most importantly, how many of you are feeling frustrated with where you are? Do let me know in the chat, because it's really interesting. I do a lot of sort of physical workshops as well as this online stuff. And yeah, a lot of people are telling me they feel stuck, don't know how to get into the industry. So here are some screen acting and acting career statistics. Drama schools teach you acting technique, but they don't teach you success mindset and also marketing. And because of this, only 7% of media professionals in the UK are from the working classes. It's very public school dominated. It's still very much who you know. And shockingly, over 90% of trained actors in the UK give up on their acting career dreams within 18 months of graduating. So yeah, something is very wrong with the current drama training system. Let's see what responses we're getting. Ivy, I'm not frustrated, but I feel I need to more work on technique. Brilliant. Yeah, that's fantastic, Ivy. Thanks for sharing that. I would agree. I'd say my experience at drama school, they didn't give me something really tangible, a structured approach to acting that I could apply to every script. And I would say the Chabuk stuff, which I teach, does. It gives you, it's almost like that analogy again of driving the car. You know, when you get in, you know, you need to check your mirrors, you need to sort of move the mirrors. You've got a process that you go through. You indicate, then you make sure there's nothing. Come in the mirrors, you look over your shoulder because there's a blind spot there, and you're trained and it's repeated to you. So when you are actually driving without an instructor, you know instinctively, automatically what to do. This is what I teach. There is a structured approach that helps you dissect every script. And we're going to look at some of that process tonight. But yeah, I think definitely if once you've got a technique, a structure, you feel really confident and you know you're not going to wing it or pitch into the dark and not have a clue of the result. So yeah, I think structured technique is really important to all actors. So we're looking at what to act that is not in the script. Quite a clunky title, I admit. So what sort of thing do you think I'm talking about here? Do share in the chat, because as I say, yeah, it'd be good to get your feedback throughout this, so you kind of to see what you thought you were coming to today, because if there's any gaps, then I know that I need to change it going forward. Do far away. Oh, what's my computer doing? Hold on. And yeah, so do fire your responses to me on the comments. That'd be good. So when acting, you start with a script, don't you? And this gives you real basics. It gives you the location, sometimes the time, it gives you dialogue, it gives you a few moves and directions, but nothing else. It's a real foundation, it's a real skeleton. So your performance is everything else that is required to bring the script to physical life. And there's a hell of a lot that you need to bring. Let's just see the comments that are coming in. Subtext. Yeah, we're going to cover that tonight, because yeah, that could be vague. That is open to interpretation. I'm going to explain with specifics exactly what subtext is and how you can apply it moving forward. So thanks for that, Ivy. Yeah, so the big thing with screen acting, and this is where it's different to stage acting, with screen acting, we are reading the character's behavior. This is completely different to theatre and radio. If you think with theatre, you know, the actors are on a stage, they've got an audience of, you know, up to 1,000 people, maybe more in the big venues, and they're having to project their voice. They're also having to act so that the people sat right at the back can see, the people at the top can see. So they're really, it's a fake style of acting. It's all about gesture and yeah, sometimes conveying, what shall I say, cliche kind of stereotyped expressions so the audience can understand. Same with radio as well. There's no, we're just hearing the voice, so it's all the focus is on the voice. With the screen, with screen acting, film and TV acting, it's the character's behavior. The dialogue can be just irrelevant. It can be, you know, nonsensical. If you're doing a Pinter or something, you know, those of you that know Pinter, the dialogue can seem gobbledygook. So it's what the characters are doing, what their behavior is. And with film and television, you know, just a blink of an eye, or if Tom Cruise, he, you know, he does that thing with his cheek, doesn't he? You kind of, it's those micro mannerisms that can say so much, and none of that is in the script. So this is what you need to prepare and bring yourself. Yeah, behavior then, to clarify what that is, it's about the way you move, the truth of your character, the subtext, and what you do in a scene. What creates behavior? Costume can, you know, those of you that have done theatre shows, maybe played a policeman or something like that, or done a costume drama, you'll know as soon as you put on the costume, it changes your emotional state. You really start to feel the character, especially if it's like sort of period costume. It can be tight fitting, completely, you know, nothing like what we've got wearing in modern clothing. Your internal life, this is the subtext here, your thoughts and your character's mental health, what they're thinking, and ultimately thoughts create feelings. Your character's emotional state creates behavior. This is where the Chibuk stuff just, you know, comes into its own. I'll explain that more in a moment. But yeah, you can create behavior, truthful behavior that you aren't even aware you're doing by activating strong emotion in yourself when acting for the screen. Your current environment can affect your behavior, kind of relax or restrict you. We'll look at that tonight, how that can apply. And also your desires, intentions, or perceived obstacles that you have in a scene or when talking to particular people, that will affect your behavior going forward, and what you say, everything that you do within that scene. So what is our ultimate aim when acting? What would you say the ultimate aim is? What are you trying to do? What defines a great actor from a not so great one? I would say it is that the aim of an actor is to mimic believable human behavior, to be completely believable when acting, even though you've got scripted lines, even though you've rehearsed what you're doing. It might be your 20th take, 30th take, that you come across in the final edit as a living, breathing human being. That is what we're aiming for. And some of what I'm going to teach you tonight will enable you to do that. The things I teach, as I said, is how to create emotion from within. And this can create your performance. Okay, I teach an emotional scale. Let's see if it's here. That's the emotional scale. You can see it's a 22 stage scale. We'll zoom in. Don't worry if you can't see it that well. So the top of the scale is, the first 7 are happiness, basically. And these are states of mind that if you can focus on and activate within yourself, you can, if you hold a non-conflicted thought for 17 seconds or more, it starts to activate within you emotion. And if you can do that, so you're holding a specific thought, you're not allowing your mind to be a monkey mind bouncing around, you can start to activate emotion anywhere on this scale within you, which can be the petrol to fuel your performance. And as you can see, the top 7 are the really happy ones, which if you need a lot of energy, want to be a charismatic actor, then it's important to tap into high energy. As we go down the scale though, and this is if you're playing a criminal, a drug addict, or a serial killer or whatever, or bunny boiler, whatever, the villains of the piece, basically, if you can activate this negative emotion within you, jealousy, hatred, rage, revenge, anger, and depression and powerlessness. And this is where my mindset coaching really embellishes the acting that I teach, because this is the emotional scale of human beings. It's not a drama concept that I've just created and dumped in. This is a spiritual concept that's come from sort of well-being trainings, like from a tutor that's from my happiness coaching. So this is what I teach to empower people on an individual basis, but it also applies to acting as well, screen acting particularly. So you've got this 22 stage scale. Let's just go back. So the second bit, you are always the character. Never deny who you are. So many of the people that I teach are trying to run away from themselves. They're going into acting to be someone else. And it's almost like there's some unresolved trauma, or there's some like self-loathing that they're trying to escape from. Here's the spoiler alert. You can never escape from yourself. The best actors are the ones that fully embrace all their flaws and their traumas and their hang-ups, etc., and they use it in their acting. And this is where acting and performing can become therapeutic. You're exploring yourself, and as you play different parts, you start to activate different aspects of yourself. And how you do that is by tapping into the various levels on the scale. So if you just trying to think of an example, we'll look at a script in a moment, which might help you clarify this aspect a bit more. But if you're playing a character that's bullied, you might need to activate a memory from your own life when you were bullied, and so you need to take your mind to an unpleasant place, allow yourself to focus mentally so it activates behavior within you, and then you can play the role. This is kind of what method acting was about, but I'd say again it's a technique. The concept of method, it keeps changing. As you read around that topic, it's self-contradictory. It doesn't make sense. With these Ivana Chubuk techniques, they give you a concrete structure to apply to any scene to help you, give a fantastic performance. I've worked with non-actors that have come in completely fresh, and within 10 minutes of applying these techniques, they're performing something that's truthful. And also, I don't act that much myself, but I've done improvisation classes, and I use a particular technique, which is a freebie that I'm going to give you at the end. And everyone says, wow, Steve, you're really good. And it's because I know these techniques. And once you apply specific techniques, it just changes your performance. It takes your acting to a whole nother level. Okay, so let's move on from the scale. Let's watch a sample scene now and just see. This is from a TV soap opera that I worked on back in the 90s. And let's watch this actor, these two actors in this.
17 going on 40. She's seen too much.
So, has your husband been in touch again?
He's here, Jean. He's living up here.
In Liverpool?
I don't know what to do. Sometimes I think it'd be easier if I just gave in. I'll never get away from him. Never. I'm so tired. Sometimes he'd be fine for weeks. He seemed to come in cycles. You could feel it building up to him. The rage. Till the atmosphere in the house got so thick no one could breathe. And then one chance remark, something trivial, and he'd snap. I could never escape it. I could never hide. He always found me. Once he dragged me all the way downstairs by my hair. Because, you see, I was part of it. I was the focus of all that rage. The more he hurt me, the better he felt. More in control. More of a man.
Andy, you've got to get out.
I'm sick of running.
No, I mean out of the marriage. Divorce him.
We watched that scene again in a moment, but just tell me in the chat what stood out for you about that performance. What was happening? What you thought of it? If you thought it was good acting or not very good acting. But share with me your comments in the chat, and then we'll come back to that in a moment. I'll play the scene again now.
17 going on 40. She's seen too much.
So, has your husband been in touch again?
He's here, Jean. He's living up here.
In Liverpool?
I don't know what to do. Sometimes I think it'd be easier if I just gave in. I'll never get away from him. Never. I'm so tired. Sometimes he'd be fine for weeks. He seemed to come in cycles. You could feel it building up to him. The rage. Till the atmosphere in the house got so thick no one could breathe. And then one chance remark, something trivial, and he'd snap. I could never escape it. I could never hide. He always found me. Once he dragged me all the way downstairs by my hair. Because, you see, I was part of it. I was the focus of all that rage. The more he hurt me, the better he felt. More in control. More of a man.
Andy, you've got to get out.
I'm sick of running.
No, I mean out of the marriage. Divorce him.
So share your opinions of that scene in the chat. That'd be really good. But what stands out for me is that, without a doubt, there's the actress has conjured up huge pain within her, in her own head. She's obviously taken it from her own life, because you can't perform that scene with the truth if you haven't got any like emotional response happening within you. So maybe she hasn't been like a victim of domestic violence herself, but she has tapped into some pain, some unresolved trauma. That's what you got to do. Again, the script doesn't tell you that. It just tells you that someone's shouting or someone's emotive. But you have to find within you an emotional response, a truthful emotional response. And you can either do, can't you, that this is where it's kind of the method stuff. You can either activate a true emotion from emotive memory from your own life that gives you the emotion. And again, your whole physiology is affected when you start doing this. Or you can go into fantasy and like something like that, you can focus your mind on something happening, something awful happening to a loved one, that just activates that pain within you, and then you play the scene. And if you think of it like her vocal levels, that you know that her mouth was like attempting like tiny little smiles, but it was very downcast. That her eyes, she was afraid to look in the eyes. There was a sensitivity, a vulnerability about that. You can't perform that cold. You have to find that truth within you to get that subtlety of performance. It has to be true to you. So that this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying, you know, what to act that's not in a script. It's all of it. This is the subtext, isn't it? This is the hidden truth. And that scene was it was like a counseling session, was it? That any of you that have been to a counselor or confessed to a friend a big secret or something that maybe you've kept buried for a long period of time, there's a huge vulnerability in those moments. And this is what the scene is about. She's sharing to the character that she's talking to, and she's sharing to the audience the huge backstory of what she's gone through, which is going to trigger the story as it moves forward. So yeah, do let me know what you think of that script. Let's apply it now to a real script. So I'm going to share a script with you, and then we'll read through it. So let's just do this now. Okay, so it's this. Do let me know if you can see this. Okay, so yes, we've got scene. It's exterior, outside the Chalk Hill Youth Centre, day. So seething, Vicky drags Stuart towards her parked car. Vicky, what is it with her? Why is she so flipping friendly with you? Stuart, it's just a stupid schoolgirl crush. Vicky, Stu, then you need to tell her. Stuart, tell her what? They all go gaga whenever an older bloke comes near them. Vicky, oh, so what you're secretly telling me is that you're enjoying every minute of it. Is that it? Stuart, I've told you, it's just a stupid schoolgirl crush. Get over it. Vicky, who goes around vandalising other people's cars. Look, if you don't tell her, I'm going to the police to tell them she keeps harassing me. Stuart, oh, and that's really going to help the situation. Vicky, then you need to tell her. Stuart, all right, I'll tell her. Vicky, when? Stuart, I don't know. Vicky, do it now. Stuart, now, don't be stupid. Vicky, if you mean what you're telling me, you'll do it now. I don't see what the problem is. Stuart, all right, I'll do it now. But don't expect me to come out tonight. Vicky, I wouldn't want you to. And don't expect to see me again until you've told her to sling a rook. Stuart, Vicky, oh, Vicky, nothing. You are the weakest link, Stuart. Goodbye. Okay, I'll scroll to the top of that script again. So have a look at what you can see. Are you able to see it? Can you see it okay? Was you able to see the script okay? Do let me know if there's anyone there. So what basic information are we given? Let me just share the script as well. So bear with me a moment. So you can see the script here. So what information are we given? We're given the location, aren't we? We're given the so it's outside the Chalk Hill Youth Centre, which is where Stuart works. It's daytime, and they're walking towards the parked car. That is all the physical information we're given. Okay, so not much, is there? And then there's the argument. Let's just see what. Yep, you can, brilliant. You can see the, thanks Mary, so you can see, you were able to see the script. Yeah, cool. Okay. So let's just get this. So yeah, you're given the location, you're given the time of day, you're given the dialogue of the two characters, and just a few moves. So not much else. So what does this scene suggest? This is where it's all about analysis and interpretation. So what does this scene suggest? Context. There's a context of the scene. It's something has just happened that the two characters are reacting to. And this could be a scene that is in the script that is the audience see that you might be filming. You might be filming this scene. So you might be filming the aftermath before you film the actual previous scene where those two characters meet the other girl that they're referencing. So you need to know that to perform this scene effectively with the right kind of nuance and emotional reaction. There's what the script is telling us. There's history with this other character in it. Vicky is, and what is this history? This history is so extreme. Vicky's wanting to go to the police to say that she's harassing her. So it's not just normal stuff. It's quite big. This is escalated. What's interesting, you cannot play facts. It's very easy to go through a script and just work out the facts, but you can't play facts. What you can play, though, is your character's emotional reaction to the facts. And this is, if you can get clarity on what the emotion is, so this is jealousy, frustration, partly wanting revenge. There's a, what would you say is, share in the chat, what would you say is happening with Vicky here? What do you think is happening? And then we'll look at the scene space. So what are you doing in this space? Why have you arrived here? And what intention, goal do you have to achieve in this space? Because this is the big thing that defines the difference between professional pro actors and amateurs. It's that amateurs they're given a script that's mainly dialogue with minimal direction, and they just stand there and say the dialogue. They don't bring it to life. And the scene space, like what you're doing now, you've all arrived in a scene space. You're sat in front of your computer or your phone for this workshop. You've arrived with a specific intention, a goal, and you aim to achieve it in that space. And we're the same at every point in our life. If we go to toilet, it's because we intend in that space to empty our bladder or wash our hands. If we go shopping, we intend to either buy food or items or look at items and then exit. So wherever we go in life, we have an intention, a goal in mind. Human beings are goal-focused animals. And once you realize this, and once you prioritize the goal of the scene, the physical intention of the scene over the dialogue, then you can start bringing this scene to life. Does this make sense? So in this scene with Vicky and Stuart, so they've obviously had a row within the youth centre. They're exiting, and it does say that they're moving towards the car. Okay, so that is their goal. They've got a physical goal of both moving towards the car. One assumes to go home, but this row kicks off, doesn't it? And this kind of stops them achieving that goal, both of them achieving that goal. They don't go home together. They have a row, they fall out. Stuart gets left on his own. He's probably got to get the bus home now or walk home while Vicky leaves on her own. She would have, both of them would have entered that scene space, intending to both get in a car and go home. But Vicky has triggered this argument, and she's jealous. She's full of emotion. She can't contain her rage, and she's challenged Stuart about his relationship with this girl, and that derails the intention. Okay, but as you would all know, as actors, you need to prioritize the physical intention. So one thing you could do if you're playing Stuart, you don't just stand there and respond to Vicky. You could keep trying to move towards the car. And ultimately, Vicky uses that as how she wins the argument, the trump card. She says he ain't going home. He's as weak as link. She ain't seen him again until this is sorted. So are you able to see this? So there's, by identifying why you're in that space and what your agenda, your intention is in that space, you can bring this scene to life. You're not just saying dialogue. The dialogue is secondary. They entered the scene to get in the car. They did not enter the scene to have an argument, which is what the dialogue is. Does this make sense? So if you think, I'm just thinking of the opening of Macbeth, when Macbeth meets the witches. Although it's scripted that he meets the witches, he's actually got an intention. He was not expecting to meet the witches. He had a whole other intention of being in that scene space, whether he was walking home from from a war that with his fellow soldiers, or whether he was cleaning a sword or whatever. You can choose. You know, if the script doesn't give you much indication of what you're doing, you can create this. This is where you can start to become imaginative. But with this, you'll bring in the script to life. Hi, John T. Yeah, brilliant. Thanks for that, Sam. So, so with it, never just float or speak dialogue in any scene. This is called destination. You give yourself a destination. It's like if you're going to the beach, you're intending to sunbathe, aren't you? Or maybe look around and admire the scenery. You're not just static in a scene doing nothing, you know, in any physical space. We're always moving, we're always doing something, and if you can prioritize what you're doing over the dialogue, then you become believable straight away. This is interesting. This is the Chibuk components, okay, and this is similar to the Stanislavski super objective or scene objective, those of you that know that, where it says you have an intention in the scene, a goal. I found that woolly when I did my drama training. I just thought it's just too woolly. It doesn't give you any core technique. With the scene desire of the Chibuk techniques, you are looking to change the way your fellow actor feels. That is your goal. So think of Vicky in this scene. What could her, and you specify it in one sentence, how could she be wanting Stuart to feel? It could be that she wants him to understand her frustration. She wants him to sort that girl out. She's got this intention, this physical intention. The physical intention is to move to the car, to get to the car, but she's got this, that's her destination, sorry. But she's got the scene desire is she's trying to change the way Stuart feels. And if you look at the dialogue, he rebuffs her all the time. So she has to fight even harder to win the scene, to get him to do what she wants. And in the end, she fails. And that's where she says, screw you, I'm going home without you. And they split. Are you able to see that? So she's trying everything to manipulate him. Let's look at the scene again. I just share it in I'll go closer actually. Yeah, so she starts off, what is it with her? Why is she so flipping friendly with you? It's literally, how dare you be talking to other girls? And he plays it down. She's just a stupid schoolgirl. It's just a silly crush. And she's saying, well, that is not acceptable. You need to sort her out. And again, he diffuses her argument. Tell her what? They're all like this. It's not an issue. And this infuriates her even more. So now she switches on her manipulation. Oh, so you're secretly enjoying it now? Is that what you're saying? And he doesn't rise to the bait. It's just a stupid crush. Get over it. I'm not having this argument. And this is when she brings in the history. All right, who goes around vandalizing other people's cars. If you don't sort this, Stuart, I am going to the police. This is big stuff. And he's still not rising. He's refusing to have an argument. And she just said, you need to sort it. You have to do what I say, basically. And he said, all right, I will do what you say. And she doesn't let this drop. When? And he said, I don't know. He's still not committed. And she's testing him now. Do it now. And he's saying, don't be stupid. I'm not doing it now. And she says, if you mean what you really say, she's testing him now, you would do it now. You will do what I say. I can't see what the issue is here. And he says, all right, I'll do it now, but don't expect me to do what you want. So he's playing the trump card here. He's trying to get his power back, isn't he? So this all scenes are power plays, aren't they? It's about conflict. And he's right, okay, and he says, right, okay, I will do what you say, but we ain't hanging out tonight. And she says, oh, screw you. So she plays him a trump card. She doesn't let him get away with that. She's got to be in control. She's a bit of a control freak, is Vicky. And she says, you ain't seen me until you've told her to sling her hook. And then she gets it doesn't say it here, but she actually gets in the car and drives off, leaving him on his own to walk home. So you've got this. So her desire how could she want to make him feel? This is the scene desire, that you will do what I say. Is that strong enough? Could she threaten him? You could read again. This is activating the physicality here, which is what you want for the screen. You don't want to just be saying dialogue. Could you be threatening him with a fist, or hitting him with a handbag? Or this is where the specifics of the scene come to light. If Vicky's driving, it's her car, she would be taking out car keys as they approach the car. Could she threaten him with the car keys? Like, if you don't do what I say, when are you going to do it? Then it just brings the drama of the scene to life so much more than just saying dialogue. Can you see you're bringing this physical expression? The dialogue is always secondary, because you've got the movement towards the car as your destination. And again, maybe every time Stuart tries to diffuse Vicky, kill the argument, he could be trying to move towards the car, and she could keep jumping in front of him to stop him achieving that destination. So again, you're bringing this. It could be quite funny, actually, if you've got that. She's a bit crazy. She's bonkers. So not only is her demands, her emotional demands and verbal demands a bit bonkers, but her behaviour's a bit erratic. She's not quite there. What does that suggest about her? Is she desperate? Is she really? She's insecure, isn't she? This character's really insecure. So you're bringing a whole mindset to this character now. And so you could use props. The car keys, her handbag. Stuart might not necessarily have any props, but if he's wearing a uniform, he could start undressing if it's the end of the day. You've got to find a physicality that you can bring to the scene. You're not just a floating head that talks dialogue. Does this make sense? This is part of the Chibuk techniques. What obstacles exist in the scene? Because as I say, you've got a goal. You give yourself the physical and the emotional goal, but then obstacles always prevent us from achieving them. So what is preventing these characters from achieving the scene desire and the destination? So the fact they're having an argument, the fact Vicky keeps jumping in front of Stuart, the fact they're outside, aren't they? They are outside. They're right by Stuart's workplace. Maybe that is why Stuart is trying to kill the argument, because he's aware the other people in the building were here, and he could get into trouble if it's heard that he's potentially leading on a young child. Does this make sense? So you're really micro-analysing the scene and really bringing it to life. If you think they're outside, they're in public, it's daytime. When you've had a disagreement in public, do you immediately kick off, or are you aware of the people around you that they could hear you? You can embarrass yourself, couldn't you, in public if you're seen arguing? You don't want to seem like one of those Jeremy Kyle chavvy people that just kick off in public and are all loud and bring attention to themselves. You've got a bit of discretion. You want to be discreet, don't you? You want to sort of be tactful with the disagreement. But can you see, if you're constantly trying to quell the argument, stop the argument from happening, or stop yourself being humiliated, this affects your behavior. Vicky could be saying her words with venom, but whispered venom, like, Stuart, if you don't do what I'm saying. So only Stuart's aware of her wrath, but no one else around her. And Stuart could be trying to really calm her down. So this could end up being a whispered argument, not a big public blazing argument. But it's all about creating behavior. Can you see this? Hopefully this is making sense. Have any of you got any questions? The party belies. That's good. This makes sense. Thanks for that. If any of you got any questions, do fire away. Let's make this a two-way process. So let's have a look then. So what does this scene reveal about the characters? What do you think? I've said some stuff in the first part, but what do you think? Is Vicky necessarily the villain here? Or, you know, she's insecure, we know that. She's staking her claim on her man. So she's, you know, but is she as bonkers as maybe the script suggests? Or is there more to her? What if Stuart is actually enjoying leading these girls on? What if he is a player? What if he likes keeping Vicky on her toes? What if it's, you know, again, you can bring all these elements to your performance. You don't need to just perform a script flat, like as you read it, you know, do the immediate read. Vicky could seem really like pathetic not in a pathos sense that she's the victim here. She doesn't need to see this screaming banshee. If she can't contain her rage, maybe there's some backstory that she was, you know, her previous partner, you know, cheated on her once before. Maybe Stuart has cheated on her once before, or she suspected he has. Maybe she's really paranoid. So you're bringing all of this. This is the subtext. So this is you're filling in the character psychology, you know. And with us, certainly when acting on soap operas, you're kind of given the initial back history of the characters. And if you're working on a play like Macbeth or something like that, you've got some factual evidence that's mentioned in the script. But a lot of the time you're given free rein. You can fill in the detail, you can fill in the early years, you can fill in, you know, their emotional history, their relationship history. You can go to town with that. And what I would say to you all, bring your own life experience when doing this, but bring that into play. Don't just go off into fantasy land. Try and bring your own life experience. So it's almost like you're bringing the character to you, so you become the character. You're not having to just pitch into fantasy, because if you're doing fantasy, you can end up playing cliches. Whereas if you're acting from your own core truth, and even if you haven't, you know, had a relationship, or like Vicky's, the Vicky and Stuart one, if you've had like a friend who has upset you, so you're always looking into your own life for kind of plausible matches that can help you understand this, bring it to life more. Maybe you've had a friend that wasn't as loyal to you as you were to them, and you can tap into that frustration. Or maybe you've got siblings, and maybe you feel that you know, your parents favor them more than they do you, and that frustrates you and triggers anger and frustration in you. It's all about that. It's finding that. If you're playing the character of Stuart, you could you know, maybe he's been bullied in the past. Maybe he's had other girls that have really dominated him, and he's just scared. And this is his attempt to not repeat that cycle. And he seems like a nice guy in the script. He constantly wants to just placate, and he's easygoing. But if he's got these like feisty girlfriend, if his behaviour is making his partners feel insecure all the time, then, you know, he's constantly like creating problems for himself. So let's just have a look. Yeah. So what kind of person is Vicky? This is subtext now. What is she thinking? What is triggering her dialogue? And if you think, whenever we speak, in a fraction of a second, we know the intention of what we want to say next. We might not know the specific lines of dialogue that we're going to say. I'm talking about real life here, not the act. Obviously, when you're an actor, you rehearse the lines and you're only saying the lines of dialogue in the script. But in real life, we don't know what we're going to say, but we know the intention of what we're going to say. We know the kind of the level of attack, the thrust of the attack, or whether we're attacking or not, of what we're going to say next, to ultimately get what we want, isn't it? To affect and take control of the situation, take control of the other person. So if you look at what she's thinking, she could be, she could be feeling Stuart's taken her for a fool, that she's some kind of idiot. He's flirting with these girls in front of him. She's not having that. How dare he? You've got options for this. What's happened to her in the past, as I said? Has she been cheated on before? Did she have her heart broken? And there's no way. She could be kind of paranoid, couldn't she? That the slightest hint of what's happened in the past happening again could really trigger her. What is her relationship with herself? Does she think she's worthy of a stable relationship? Does she think she's worthy of respect? Or does deep down, is she really insecure? She's worthless. And so she just creates drama all the time because she feels she's going to lose the people she loves. And what change does she want to achieve? This again is your scene desire. What does she want to achieve? What is she aiming for in this scene? And these are the big things. So it's all about self-exploration here with any scene. Can you relate to this situation? Have you experienced something similar? When have you behaved like this? Have you ever behaved like this? Maybe not recently, but when you were a child, you could have kicked off like this. And what did you do? If you can remember what you did, maybe you can bring an element of that. You can bring comedy into these scenes. I would say, just for myself, I remember there's once I wanted a toy in a shop with my mum when I was about 5. And my mum kept saying, no, you can't have the toy. And I'd first of all be like, oh, please, I'll tidy my room. I'll be really good. And then my mum kept saying, no, put it down. So I changed tack. I changed my level of attack. And I went mad and I threw a big tantrum. I started screaming and crying. And this is me, a 5-year-old. I ended up getting the toy, but I had to really, really perform and embarrass and humiliate my mum. So she had to buy me the toy to drag me out the shop and shut me up. Maybe not, you can't go that crazy with Vicky in this scene, but you can certainly, go halfway there. She could threaten him, be really angry, fuming. You'd punch him or threaten to punch him. You could go crazy with this. You could explore the range that you can do with this kind of scene. What I'd say with all of your acting, tap into your uniqueness. Most actors don't do this. They are wanting to be something else. Like I said, they're wanting to run away from themselves. And that leads to cliche and imitation and ultimately failure. If you can dare to be you, and I teach you how to do this actually on my course, and there's a week where I get you to do a life timeline. So you're identifying the big key moments from your life. So you're reminding yourself, reactivating your life journey, your own life journey. And if you can use that, tap into that, you will constantly bring a freshness and uniqueness to acting. Yes, what kind of person is Stuart? What's he thinking? Is he embarrassed? Is he used to Vicky being like this, or is he scared of other people hearing about this, hearing this argument outside his place of work, or is he just wanted to quash the argument, or is he just a bit of a dozy? He's completely blind to what these girls are doing in front of him, these young girls, how they're flirting with him, and Vicky's seeing it all, and he's just oblivious. So what could have happened in his past to make him react like this in this context of the scene right now? What is his relationship with himself? Does he fancy himself? Does he expect girls to throw themselves at him? And what change does he want to achieve? Does he just want, by playing the cool guy, playing it down, is he kind of gaslighting Vicky? Is he trying to get her in his control? So you've got options here. Again, ask, can you relate to this situation? Have you experienced something similar? When have you behaved like this? Be honest now. And what did you do? Always think that with every scene. Is this good? Is this making sense? Is this what you wanted from this, or expected to get from this workshop? Do let me know. This is character psychology. And this is, as I say, I'm a scriptwriter as well as a drama coach. characters have to be self-conflicted. If they're one-dimensional, they are boring as. So there always needs to be some struggle within themselves, internal resistance, and their biggest obstacle is themselves. So taking these characters, Vicky might want to seem like she was actually written as a kind of posh spice wannabe. She was, you know, the sort of it girl, sophisticated, looked like she had it all, living the dream life, living her best life. But she doesn't believe it. That's all a veneer. That's all an exterior. So despite the fact she could buy the expensive handbag and the designer label clothing, internally she felt crap. She felt she had to constantly prove herself to the world. She wasn't comfortable in herself. And so the slightest thing, the slightest sense that another girl could be attempting to steal her man, the fishwife comes out. And all the veneer of her designer labels are irrelevant because she's an insecure old bag who becomes a bully. So there's this, you know, and ultimately though, she wants love. She wants a loving relationship. She wants to get the man. But because of her internal resistance, her internal self-conflict, she loses the man at the end of this scene. And she's ultimately, this is chipping away at the long-term relationship, and she could lose the love of her life. Does that make sense? So in just one scene, just a, what is it, page and a half of dialogue of a fictional character, there is so much life that you can bring to these kind of characters. What I'd ask as well, what mask are they wearing to hide all this? So as I said, Vicky's all veneer, it's all designer labels, you know, layers of makeup, but it's all fake really. It's all that, it's almost like the, you know, we say that, don't we? They say within the bully, inside the bully has been bullied. They feel like marshmallow, and the only way they can cope is to put on this really hard, aggressive exterior. The serial killers have all been victims of great pain, so they're wanting to exact revenge and give that pain to someone else because it's within them. So all this self-confliction. You need to understand the character's backstory. And I'd say when you're auditioning, this is the work you do, because often you would just get like a page of dialogue to perform. And the feeble actors would just go in and say the dialogue. If you can bring it to life by giving this kind of detailed analysis to the scene, and half of it you'll be making up, you know, it's your decision, your conscious choice. But this is how TV casting works. If you can bring an element to a script that maybe the writers haven't seen before, they've got, like, say, 70% of the character worked out in their head. You could bring another 150% and take the character in a completely new direction. I know that's what is it Bryan Cranston of Breaking Bad? That's what he did. He realized there was so much more to this character, and he really brought it to life, and it become a massive cultural hit, didn't it? This is also interesting to consider. Why are they saying the specific dialogue and not something else? This is always an obstacle. So Vicky might be wanting to swear, but because she's got this veneer of respectability and the it girl, swearing won't be, will make her look like an old fishwife. Also, they're outside, aren't they? They're in public. So that could stifle them swearing, and that could cap the argument from hitting its full potential, because they're contained by the location. And maybe they know if they we all know this. We're in circumstances, sometimes people we love don't behave as you want them to. We can think things, but we don't say those things because we know it will have too big a consequence. It could destroy the friendship forever, so we don't say it. But if you can think, this is what I said earlier, if you can know your character's thoughts, this would trigger behavior, and you can bring so much more truth to the dialogue. So we see that you're frustrated, you're not saying what you want to say. So you have to know your character's thoughts. This is their subtext. If you think of yourself when you're in a room with only your thoughts as company. You might, when you go out to the world, you might, pretend to be, really confident and jokey and the life and soul of the party. As soon as you lock yourself away in a room with just yourself as company, and all your thoughts kick in and you're plagued with self-loathing, doubt, you're miserable, really, that is who you really are. And so you kind of need to know, and that happens at a thought level. Our thoughts are who we really are. And you need to know your character's thoughts. That is the true subtext. And it's where the level of their self-conflict and the mental obstacles are revealed. The mental level is always the true character. Always. I've got a question here, actually. Let's just see. What would you do? I recently self-taped for character, but the background and description is all from male character. Then they said they're open to the character being female. You know what? If it's a thought level, doesn't make a difference, really. I'd say Lady Macbeth is called Lady. It's a female, very masculine character traits. So it's you can just bring it to life. You know what I would say when you're starting out, the bolder and the bigger and the more daring you dare to be will make you stand out as an actor. Most people are mediocre. Most people play it safe. They do the predictable. In auditions, they're wanting to see options. As I said, they have their concept of what the character's like. They want that to be challenged. And I know I was casting for a soap opera ages ago now, and it was I saw it as the character was actually like a paedophile, and we was looking for like a sort of, the cliche kind of druggy, kind of unkempt, someone that just exuded like dirty and dodgy. And this guy walked in that looked like Tom Cruise, and suddenly it just shifted it. Like, wow, what if we get this real charmer and this like really suave and sophisticated character, good looking, charmy, drop dead gorgeous. No one would believe the accusations that are funneled at the script. And if you get the audience to fall in love with this guy, and then the secret is revealed further down the line, how dramatic would that be if we lured the audience into a false sense of like who this character is, and then it's derailed. And that's what you can do if you just decide to be, you can't help but be who you are, because you will be typecast to your look. Your physicality will give you a shorthand. And they say within 3 seconds of a character appearing on screen, we kind of know who they are. And so say if you look academic rather than stupid, you will be cast as lawyers, you will be cast as doctors. Whereas, if you're female and you're blonde, you would be cast as frisky. It's those kind of cliches. So it's about being aware of that. But I would say if you present physically a cliche, but then you decide to give all this extra imaginative interpretation, it's going to make you stand out. You'll get a call back without a doubt. So with dialogue, let's look at dialogue. You're not just saying dialogue. With dialogue, you are aiming to affect change in the world with everything you say. And this is where you have to know your intention, your scene desire. How do you want what you say to affect how your fellow actor feels? And there's a thought reaction before you speak. And for most of Vicky in this scene, it's like, I don't like that response. I want you to do this. That is motivating every line she says. And if you can be aware of that thought that's happening between the lines of dialogue, and if you can find your own emotive experience of those kind of thoughts, that will give your dialogue a charge, a spark, a thrust that won't be acted. It would be truthful. And if you go back to that scene that I played you, the Brookside one, where that lady is divulging the domestic violence that she suffered, the actress playing that part won't have, I don't think she suffered that herself. I think she said that she's never experienced domestic violence, but she was finding thoughts and mental images from her own life that were painful, and that was giving her speech the sort of sensitivity and vulnerability that she needed for that scene. So you have to dig into your own truth. The fundamentals of drama and acting. Drama and acting is all psychological. You have to understand how the human animal operates. The best way to do this is to really start exploring yourself. Look at yourself and don't try and run away from yourself. All of us are so fascinating. we're full of flaws, we're full of self-contradictions, and instead of like condemning those and seeing that as damage or a negative, embrace it. See it as that how fascinating you are, how you didn't even know yourself. So you're this never-ending unfolding story, and you can bring all that to your performing, so you're unique, instead of just presenting hammy cliches that most actors do. Any questions on any of this? I've said a lot, I've spoken a lot. I would have preferred it if we were sharing more comments, but maybe you're not at that stage yet. But Ivy, if you could come back and let me know, because you said you were looking for technique at the beginning, weren't you? Do let me, this is your comment. I need to work more on technique, you said. Very, very beautiful there, by the way. Yeah, do let me know. We move forward then. So this is a freebie. I'm going to give you free access for 1 month to week 11 of my Don't Go to Drama School acting training workshops. Okay, and it's called Projection. This is so powerful. If you start doing this, and what it is, it's where you take someone from your own life that if you've got similar emotional issues with to the character that you're performing, and you imagine that you're acting with them in the scene rather than an actor that you might not know, that you only know very casually and socially. Most of us have at least 4 or 5 primal relationships. It's usually siblings, parents, or close friends, or partners, current or past, that trigger us. And you're looking to identify those people, and you bring them into your acting by projecting them. So it's as if you're acting the scene with them, not the fellow actor. And honestly, it just takes you to a whole new level of truth. So I'm going to give you this. You need a code. So what you need to do, you need to go to this page. Don't go to dramaschool.com/online training. Well, if you go to this website here, that's on the slide, dgtds.com, that's the same website, and then find the online training page. This is the code you need. So it's meetup with a capital M and a capital W, a hyphen in between, meetup-week 11. That is the code you need to enter. You find week 11 on this page. Okay, so, and then click on it, and it will take you to this page where it says it's $9.99. Do enroll now, hit enroll now. So it's as if you're going to pay for it. Don't worry, you're not. And then it would come to this page, and you enter your details, and then you enter the code here where it says apply promo code or gift card. So you type in meetup-week 11, hit apply, and this would change the screen, so it would give it to you free. Okay, and you just need to enter your details, and then you've got access. Hit continue, and then it's all done. It will email you a link, and then you hit the link, and you'll get access. And yeah, enjoy the training. As I say, you can explore the website. You can train with me. Go to dramaschool.com. Screen acting techniques. Explore all the different weekly subjects, and you'll see it's what we cover. And Ivy, you said you were looking for technique. I give you technique. If you could put, then we're coming to an end now. If you could put in the chat the one thing that you've learned today, the one thing that you are going to implement going forward, I'd really like to know that. So I know our time together has not been wasted. Do let me know. That'd be appreciated. Type away. Hopefully you've learned something. I do these workshops every month online, so keep an eye on the meetup group. Do join that meetup group. I'm not doing something next month because I'm moving house, so I don't know when I'm going to be doing that. So I think it's towards the end of next month. So I won't be doing, the next one will be in September. Okay. So, this is brilliant. This come through from Mary. Be your unique self, always. There's only one of you on planet Earth. Why deny yourself? Bring all of your life experience. Bring everything that is you, your uniqueness, everything about you. Your weirdness, your complexity, your comedy, everything. Be uniquely you. Bring it. That's what all the top actors are doing. That's why You know, there's certain actors like Jim Carrey. He's developed a style of comedy. He gets hired all the. He's the only one, and that is his true comedy. The story is that in rehearsals, he trained with Ivana Chabuk. Okay, his mannerisms that we as we know him today, that's who he uniquely is. But he deactivated all of that when studying drama, and he kept getting rejected. And then his drama coach Ivana Chabuk said, "You need to start bringing your uniqueness, bring your weird wackiness to your acting." And he was like, "Are you serious? It's too over the top." And she said, "But it's you, bring it." And he started doing that. He got Saturday Night Live, a regular spot on there. And then he got The Mask, which launched him, and then Dumb and Dumber. And The Mask, the script of The Mask had been going around Hollywood for about 10 years. They realized they needed a physical performer. The script by itself wasn't enough. And they didn't have a physical performer until they found him. And the rest is Hollywood history. So yeah, we got one more comment. Use objects to emphasize emotions. Keys, yeah. Use your props. It gives you something to do with your hands as well. So you're not just, you know, this awkward hands by my sides acting. Yeah, you're always doing something in a scene. Find something to do. No, that's brilliant. Thanks ever so much then. So that is everything. Thanks for joining me today. Hopefully I'll see you again. Do sign up for the free workshop, as I say. And yeah, have a really good summer. See you again all soon. Take care.